Hey guys, Joe here, the man whose restless dreams see that town, Silent Hill. And I'm here to talk about UFC Fight Night, another UFC Fight Night, and one that I was like, hey, I'm excited for the main event at least, which, yeah, that's mostly what I'm going to be talking about. So, enough talk, let's get to the fights.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all time. You ain't nothing but a hound
We had Raw Dog Brandon Royval take on the unbeaten and very promising Tetsuro Taira. This fight was amazing. You saw everything. You saw all the arts getting mixed. You saw striking, grappling, wrestling, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, boxing, Muay Thai. You saw it all. Both dudes were getting hurt. Both dudes were scrambling and having success on the ground. Battle of wills at points. And, you know, Brandon Royval just a little bit better because he comes away with a split decision win. I thought it was a unanimous decision, but like when I was getting the info for it, because I watched the fight and when I was getting the info for it, I was like, oh, it's a split? I had to change my notes last minute. This fight was great. I think it was like every other round, I think. Like, first round, I think it was Royval. Second round, Taira. Royval, Taira. 2-2 going into the final round. So, do or die moment. Both dudes still had a lot in the tank. You can kind of feel it. And it was interesting because Taira was using his wrestling a lot. And he was able to get good positioning on the ground. Land some ground and pound. And on the feet, he's no slouch either. Doing a good job. Brandon Royval, his problem is always like getting taken down. And I think that's something I still want to see him do better with, because his striking looks fantastic almost every fight. It's getting better and better. He's aggressive on the ground, but he gets taken down easy, and he's kind of like, well, he's good defensively, and I always feel like he's a glass cannon in a weird way. You know what I mean? Like, I always feel like he's putting himself out of place at times because he's so aggressive. And honestly, though, fantastic job here. Both guys put it all on the line. It was an exhausting fight in a great way, you know. And afterwards, you know, he called out the winner of the recently announced title fight between Alexandre Pantoja and Kai Asakura. It's not Kai Kara France. We knew one of the Kais was probably getting a title shot, and it's Kai Asakura, who I think that's a fantastic thing. Let's just go through the rest of the card. Jun Yong Park beats Brad Tavares by split decision, even after getting dropped super early. Chidi Njokuani, brother of former UFC vet and WEC vet Anthony Njokuani, I always feel like I bring that up, but he beats Jared Gooden by unanimous decision after some poundings and dirty boxing and the clench good knees and elbows inside and tight. Grant Dawson, he beat the hell out of Rafa Garcia for a TKO win. And in the second round, he promised he'll be champion. You know, his wife out there, you know, I think he said some other funny things. It was honestly kind of fun. Didn't get a post-fight bonus, and I'm kind of upset by that. I think he should have deserved one because, very impassioned speech. You know, that was a lot of fun. Daniel Rodriguez, he got a close decision over Alex Morono. I scored it for Alex Morono. I'm not an Alex Morono guy, personally, nor am I a Daniel Rodriguez guy, so I felt like I was like, okay, I'm going to come in here unbiased. And I scored it for Morono. I a lot of jabs and looping right hands, and I thought he was landing and hitting the target more. I really wasn't feeling Rodriguez's offense until the final round, really. But some fun stuff. Ramazanbek Timarov got a quick, flashy TKO over CJ Vergara. Like, comes out with like a wheel kick, starts unloading on him. Big left hands, goes to the body, gets a TKO. Very fun stuff. Just overwhelmed him. Pat Sabatini got a really cool standing rear naked choke win over Jonathan Pierce. Thimba Garimbo got a unanimous decision over Nico Price, even attempting a really cool Suliev stretch at one point. It was the first fight I caught. Whenever I woke up, I turned it on and I was like, oh, hey. And I was like, it was in the third round. I was like, I'll watch the full fight later. But I caught the Suliev stretch and I thought that was pretty slick. Junior Tafa, no gas tank. Just in the second round, he has no gas tank, and he just basically what I equate to like when you play a fighting game with your little cousin and they just kind of start button mashing. Starts button mashing with no gas tank and gets a big standing TKO win, because sometimes that's all it takes in the heavyweight division, over Sean Sharaf. Tongue twister for me. there. For a standing TKO win, Julia Pilastra beat Corey McKenna by split decision. Corey Haddon beat Dan Argueta by unanimous decision. And finally, Clayton Carpenter kind of channeled his inner fictional grandfather, John Carpenter, and got a gory, violent, very bloody rear naked choke win. Puts him to sleep. It was fantastic. Next week I'll have stuff to talk about because it's an Apex card. I can always talk about the co-main event. But I'm also going to talk about PFL because that's the big card for me next week. And I'll kind of plug what me and Carl have done for the channel on that recently. But Alexandre Pantoja, I was thinking about this the other day. And I was like wondering whenever I was thinking like, oh yeah, this fight's this week. It's flyweights, Brandon Royval and all that. And I was like, okay, is flyweight gotten worse? And I went, I don't think it has. I think Pantoja's just that good. Like, I think he's just that insane of a fighter. I think all his fights are close, which I think is exciting. Like, Steve Erceg, I think, was going to win. I think he just made a bad call in the final round. I think it was in the final round. Maybe I'm crazy. That fight feels like it was forever ago. We've had like 40 Apex fights since, 40 Apex cards, not just fights. 40 Apex cards, it feels like, since then. So, kind of forgetting it. The Pantoja fight was really close. I thought it was pretty, and then I thought the Moreno fight was really close. And close fights make you kind of forget how good he is. He just has like gas tank issues, which is, it's not a big deal. Because in those early rounds, he is a monster, and he's like very, very, very durable because he's pretty tired and he's staying in the fight. He's not getting finished in the later rounds. Like that gas tank's always something we're going to be talking about forever. And sometimes actually he ends up winning the close fifth round. Like when it's potentially 2-2, or he's up 3-1, but he can't get 10-8'd, or it's going to be a draw kind of situations like on the judges' scorecards. One other reason we need open scoring. But Pantoja is the man. Like, I think I'm going to probably end up watching a bunch of Pantoja stuff recently because I randomly was like, going, I feel like he doesn't get enough credit, and maybe not even enough credit from me. So I'm going to change that. Alexandre Pantoja. I mean, I'm thinking about it. The best pound for pound, the meaning of pound for pound, not to go into this tangent, the meaning of pound for pound means, like, if, the whole thing we used to always kind of say is like, if Demetrius Johnson was a heavyweight with all the proportions scaled up perfectly, so he has that reach advantage on average, or and all that stuff like that. Like if he was scaled up to heavyweight, how good would he be? And it's like, well, the answer is always you have to be insane. You know what I mean? Because the lower you go, the better pound for pound people are. So, and Pantoja, like, in that regard, Pantoja, you could argue, if you put him at heavyweight, it's like, yeah, he's probably the best heavyweight on the planet if you do that to him. It's no one's out there arguing, like, even though don't get me wrong, I love Prime Stipe. He's my pick for the greatest heavyweight ever. No one's saying, like, all right, Prime Stipe, if we made him a featherweight and put him in there against Jose Aldo, how would he do? Aldo would kill him, right? Like, or put him in there against, like, God forbid, I dislike this guy, Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley should beat him, right? Like, he has a much more varied offense, much more technical guy. Technically Stipe could just wrestle him. That's something that Sean O'Malley isn't very good at defending, but, most people can't defend against Marab. That's to be fair. But, yeah, I think that's kind of a fun, interesting kind of deep dive into it. I think we can kind of consider is like, how good is Pantoja on the pound for pound scaling? Is he getting kind of shafted by these pound for pound scalings? Like, is he probably number 2 or 3 in reality? Just kind of some food for thought. But that's really it for me. I mostly want to talk about Pantoja because, the Kaya Sakura fight's actually super exciting. Like, I'm so happy they went with Kaya Sakura, getting him a title shot right out of the gate. It's so awesome. But like I said, that's it for me. Check out the preview show me and Carl did for PFL. It's for next week's card, their biggest card ever. Francis Ngannou, Renan Ferreira, and Chris Cyborg versus Larissa Pacheco. Seriously, if Like, you don't have to necessarily, we would love it if you support the video itself, of course. But if you can, please support that PFL show because it's good. I think it's a good time to support the number 2 promotion in the world for MMA. I don't care what ONE FC says. We have billions watching. Can we see the numbers for that? Shut up. Like, that's like their whole like MO, right? Like they don't actually have the numbers for that. There's no way, right? The real number 2 is PFL. You want to support them because that means they create a better competition for the UFC, which is good for both sides of both sides of the company. Becomes just fantastic and great for. More competition could potentially mean less random Apex cards for the year. Less stinker Apex cards. Hopefully, probably. But like I said, that's it for me. I'm Joe with the INC. Once again, if you want to support us, please support us on Patreon. We have a lot of great content on there, exclusive content as well, and you can even get a bonus retro review nomination as well. I'm Joe with the INC. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.